What's up, y'all? Goofy Rexy here, and hope everybody is doing well. I wanted to do a little bit of an updated video on the channel here. Actually, something that I'm planning on doing monthly, but it's a roster review of Goofy's roster. I know the last time I did this was probably maybe like a little under 600 days played in Marvel Strike Force. Obviously, a lot has changed. For the most part today, what we're going to be going through here, I'll talk about, if you're new to the channel, we'll talk about, where am I at for TCP, days played. I'll go through what I'm currently working on right now, talk about my philosophies on how I typically try to build out my roster. And then I'll talk about what I'm working on specifically right now, what I'm working on in the future, what I'm using for things like raids, which are probably the same things that everybody's using for those Doom raids. We'll talk about what I'm using for war offense, my blitz save squads. We'll go through all of that as well in this video. But let's dive into it, guys. The first and foremost, how many days have I played Marvel Strike Force now? So I've been playing MSF for I did not look at this before I started the video. We are at 1,006 days played. I actually did not realize that we were up to 1,000 day. We had to hit the 1,000 mark in Marvel Strike Force. Been quite a long journey, I should say here, but we're definitely looking forward to those 25 cores and those 6,000 red star orb fragments. I mean, started from the bottom and now we're here. But yeah, that's where I'm at for days played. And then we are for TCP, we are at 15.1, I believe. Yeah, 15.2 million TCP, 15.193 thousand TCP here. That's currently where we are right now. But so I guess we've grown quite a bit. Now let's talk about how kind of I play the game. Where would you classify me in terms of like spender category? So I would consider myself to be a little bit of a baby dolphin. I'm usually within the $50 to $100 range. Usually more so I'm on the $50 to $60 range side here. I used to spend money on the $50 characters, but now kind of cut back a little bit where that's concerned. Only spending about $25, regardless of what the character is now. Kind of started doing that over the last 2 months or so. Previously, before, there were some times where I would spend the $50 on the character, but I just feel like those prices are a little bit too steep now. So $25 is pretty much basically where I'm going, unless the character's like really dominant, like Icarus and Cersei. That's pretty much basically where I'm staying in terms of the bracket and when I'm spending here in MSF right now. But let's talk about what I'm currently working on right now, or I guess let's talk about my philosophy on my roster building, right? So typically the way that I go about building my roster is that I focus on certain things. So I primarily focus on arena and raids, probably more so raids now than arena, but arena is definitely important. Arena is where you're going to be able to get your necessary arena credits, but also even more so your cores. Cores have become largely important in the game right now, so definitely an area of focus for me. Then I will focus on raids. That's really important, all right? You need multiple raid teams now. I'm doing Doom raids. We're actually doing Doom 2.1 raids right now, so then I'll focus on Doom raid teams. Or just raid teams in general. And then the next priority for me is usually war offense. That's where I'll focus. And then war defense is usually last. I will want to actually add in there that Dark Dimension is usually a part of that plan too, but because raids typically are kind of overlapping right now with your Dark Dimension characters, there's no real specific need to primarily to plan out separately for Dark Dimension 5, because those are kind of overlapping with the same characters right now. But let's talk about what I'm currently working on my roster at the current moment. So right now I'm currently, I'm not working on White Tiger or Misty Knight. That's just not what I'm doing right now. I am only reason why I actually have them highlighted is because I'm farming ISOs for Brawler and Controller. That's the reason why they're there. But primarily I'm putting some investment right now into the Young Avengers team, which is the reason why you see them highlighted. So let's actually pull up the Young Avengers team and take a look at them here. So we have America Chavez, Echo, and Kate Bishop, who are currently highlighted. We already have Squirrel Girl and Miss Marvel where we want them to be. They were actually here before they got reworked. They were at G14 already, because I'm just like, these are Squirrel Girl and Miss Marvel are two of my favorite Marvel universe characters ever. So I like to work on passion projects, and this was one of my passion projects that I worked on, was building up Squirrel Girl and also building out Miss Marvel. Now, right now, my plan with the rest of the Young Avengers. So I don't like to focus on war defense teams, as I mentioned. That's kind of like a lower priority for me. But my raid teams are done. My arena team is done. And Dark Dimension 5 is kind of done too. We're just waiting on getting the gear that we need. So right now, and war offense is done too, with respect to Dark Hunters, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I like to kind of focus for war defense on at least having 2 good war defense teams. I don't need to have 10 good war defense teams. I just want to have 2 good war defense teams, and then I'll just let the chips fall where they may for the rest of those 8 teams. So being the Young Avengers, to me, I find them to be kind of like, as a pure fully synergized team, I find them to be the second best team from that perspective. Obviously there's some hybrids that are better, but I do find that as a full team, full synergized team, the Young Avengers are probably the second best war defense team in the game. So I'm going to be building them out. Now, how far am I going to take them? Kate Bishop, I'm going to bring her up to level 71 in gear tier 12. We actually do have a plan to bring her into Dark Dimension 5. So she might actually go to gear tier 16, but we'll talk about that a little bit later when we talk about our Dark Dimension 5 characters. Echo, we're probably going to leave her at 71 and 12, and also America Chavez at 71 and 12 as well. Echo, the reason why I'm leaving her there is because I don't have a way to reliably get the 4th yellow star on her, so I just don't feel like bringing her up any higher. 71 and 12 is where she's gonna go. I may put another T4 into her, but that's pretty much basically where I'll leave it. America Chavez, you could probably justify bringing her up to G14, but once again, war defense team, I don't want to go too hard on them. I just want you to have to think about countering them, right? That's pretty much basically what I'm trying to do here. That's the reason why I'll say 71 in gear tier 12, because I also do think I would like to probably invest this T4 into her special. Not a guarantee, may hold off on that one, but definitely want to bring her up there. And like I said, Kate Bishop, probably going to go to G16. After this blitz, we're most likely going to be able to get her to that 4th yellow star, or we will be able to get her that 4th yellow star. And she's a cheap character for global, so that's the reason why I'm considering her for G16. And then the rest of these characters, Squirrel Girl and Miss Marvel, it's just about probably just some important T4 investments, some of which are already there that we'll be focusing on. But apart from that, once we're done with Young Avengers, we're definitely going to kind of start pushing towards building out our Dark Hunter team. Now, the reason why I've kind of held off on Dark Hunters a little bit is because I know that this team is going to get a lot of investment from me. They're a war offense team. They're probably going to be one of the top 5 war offense teams in the game, and they're going to be a much needed team in terms of just a counter to Heroes for Hire, being able to then slide Weapon X to a different team, being able to slide some of the teams a little bit into different areas. So therefore, Dark Hunter is going to get a lot of investment from me. Also, I just think that they're really cool. So therefore, they're also going to get investment from me from that perspective. But yeah, Ghost Rider is probably going to go to 14. Voodoo is probably going to go to 14. And so is Morbius. They're probably going to go to 14 as well. Probably level 80 and 14 is where I'm going to be bringing them. So probably the next time that we do a roster review here, you're most likely going to see that these characters are going to be a little bit higher invested into. Now, Elsa Bloodstone, I'm probably going to leave at 71 in gear tier 12. I'm just not convinced that I need her to be that highly invested in order for this team to be good. So we're probably going to bring up to 71 and 12, use the team first, see whether or not we need her any higher, and then we'll make a decision based on that. Mordo's also missing off this too, although I am kind of flirting with the option of using Loki on this team as opposed to using Mordo, but Loki is kind of with speed turtles for me right now, so maybe I'll like to keep it that way, but we'll figure that out as we move forward. But that's kind of like my thought process on this team here. Now, you may be asking questions like, why do you have the healer ISO on him, the skirmisher or better ISO to have on him? My thoughts on this with Voodoo is that skirmisher, I understand that you probably want the higher focus on him. I personally think that because of Ghost Rider and his passive ability, where he gives them the extra 40% focus, I feel as if though we're going to be okay with Voodoo being able to land an ability block with his special ability, right? I really honestly think that we're going to be okay. Is it special? Yeah, special ability once you T4 it. I really think that we're going to be okay with being able to land an ability block because of that extra 40% focus. Now, Heroes for Hire just have quite a bit of resistance. So it's like 525% resistance for a character like Misty Knight, which I think is probably who you're going to want to ability block with Dr. Voodoo. But we'll have to see. Let's play around with it a little bit. Let's leave it at ISO green, build them up to 14. Then let's see if we're having that resistance issue. Then maybe we'll switch over the ISO to skirmisher. which is the reason why I've left it at green and not bring it. And I probably will leave it at green for a while and not bring it up to blue because we're just not sure about whether or not we're going to keep that ISO on them as of yet. But those are my thoughts. That's what I'm going to be doing. Apart from that, it's pretty much basically going to be going to Dark Dimension 5. And let's talk about the characters that I'm going to be bringing to Dark Dimension 5 here. I have them highlighted on my Versus Battle Favorites roster. We already talked about Kate Bishop. She's a really cheap tech character that is going to alleviate some of the skill bottleneck that I would have if I were to bring in, let's say, Sharon Carter. Although Sharon Carter and her both take the same number of pieces, it's additional skill gear, and I'm kind of hurting on skill gear, and tech is a little bit easier, so therefore that's the reason why I'm going with Kate Bishop as an option. Now, I'm not committed to this. This is something that may change as we move forward, but as of right now, she's kind of slided into that space right now. But other than that, Captain Sam, Doc Ock, Doctor Doom, Maria Hill, Jubilee, Shang-Chi, Icarus are probably self-explanatory, right? Omega Red, Cersei, Dagger. Well, Dagger we'll talk about in a little bit. Scarlet Spider, Ghost Spider, Cloak. Those are definitely options. Down here, by the way, Thor and Black Panther are not going to Dark Dimension 5. They are just passion projects of mine that I'd like to put some extra like levels and gear into every now and again. That's the reason why they're my Versus Battle favorite roster, and why they'll stay there for a little bit and after a while. But now, some question marks that you probably have in regards to why I'm bringing certain characters into Dark Dimension 5, like Phyla-Vell. Why Phyla-Vell? The reason for Phyla-Vell is I didn't want to bring in another Mystic character. There's too many Mystic characters already for Dark Dimension 5. I'm running into some gear issues with Origin gear. So to kind of alleviate that bottleneck a little bit, I'm thinking about bringing in Phyla-Vell. Now, she does take Astral Energy. Which is a problem. However, she is bio gear, and I don't really have a lot of bio characters, so Phyla-Vell kind of just slots in, and I can justify it because I'm using her right now in the Gamma Raids. I'm still using her right now in Arena for some of the matchups, so she definitely will benefit me there too. So I do think that Phyla-Vell will provide some solid option for me. So there, and actually Phyla-Vell is really the only reason why I'm able to even one shot the boss node 30% of the time. So that's all. I definitely want to make sure that I bring in Phyla for that reason. Emma, for me, I just like her kit. I think she's a really good kit-based character. Don't really need the gear on her per se, but once again, it's for a global character. It alleviates some of the other bottlenecks that I would have. So that's the reason why I'm bringing in Emma as a mutant character. I do have a lot of mutants in the legendary section of Dark Dimension 5, but I feel like I'll be able to recuperate that because Cosmic is next after and then legendary. So I think I'll be able to recuperate that gear. So I'm okay with bringing in Emma. She also might get a rework this year too. There's some rumors right about the Hellfire Club team. So feel good about that. Black Bolt. So this one's probably one of the most controversial ones because he is not really a part of the meta right now. Although my understanding is that he is currently being used, or for some players are using him as a Dormammu counter. I can't vouch for that. I have not done that myself. Black Bolt, once again, it's just like it's like legendary options aren't great, right? There's really like only 3 legendary characters that you probably want to put G16 on: Omega Red, Jubilee, Doc Ock, maybe, right? And he's a tech character, so maybe like that may be justified, right? But and then probably Adam Warlock, but Adam Warlock is a Mystic character, a lot of Mystic gear. I'm trying to go away from the Mystic gear, so that's the reason why I'm thinking about bringing in Black Bolt. He's a bio character. This may be a mistake. We'll see what happens, but I'm just trying to eliminate some of the gear here because it's just getting a little crazy where this is concerned. Dagger, for me, is also probably another little bit of a question mark because she is expensive. She's a Mystic character. Mystic gear is going to be a little bit of a problem. Do you want to bring in Dagger? The way that I view this is I would rather invest into the right character, apart from Legendary. Legendary is kind of whatever. But for Dagger, I would like to be able to invest into the right character, as many of the right characters as possible. I understand that I will need to make some changes every now and again for maybe the cost of gear. But the way I look at Dagger is her and Cloak are phenomenal. They're sensational. Eventually, at some point in time, we'll want to be able to do Doom 2.3 raids. And I know that eventually when I get my 6th red dagger after completion of the calendar, the Tadano Mac calendar login, and having her at G16, that she'll definitely provide a lot of solid value for me in some of these nodes. Cooldowns still suck, but at least I just feel like I want to invest into the right character, and as opposed to bringing in maybe a character like what's been recommended to me so far, Morbius, war offense character. Like a lot of his buffs are in war. Misty Knight, yes, she's a tech character. However, she's really slow. I don't really know if I can really justify even using her in the tech Doom raid nodes. So therefore, Misty Knight, yeah, I'm just not feeling it. So I prefer to go with Dagger because I feel like that's just overall better use of gear. Yes, it will take me longer. However, I think that it's best use of gear. Now, if I do get another Web Warrior character, like let's say that I get some more OZ formula, like I get enough to be able to bring in 2 characters, then I'll probably consider dropping Dagger there. But as of right now, I just feel like this is the best direction for me to go in. Phoenix, kind of self-explanatory. T'Challa is another one where I'm still a little bit on the fence on. He's a tech character. I don't have a lot of tech characters, so it's kind of helping me out a little bit to kind of save some gear there. But I'm a little concerned about. I kind of regret investing this G15 gear into him, to be fair and to be very honest with you. That's one of the regrets that I have right now. However, I do think that since we've gone this far already, it's kind of whatever. Like, you know, we might take him off the list. We'll see what happens as we move forward here. We may take him off the list and not have him there. But right now, this is sort of the initial planning. We have time. He's in the cosmic node. We have time to make a decision to pivot off of T'Challa if we need to. There's going to be a lot of new characters, right, that will probably be released. That will probably make some of this trivial. So let's move on from there. But let's look at some save squads here really quickly. We can go through like our blitz save squads. Nothing crazy about it. This is my blitz save squads right now. Pretty cookie cutter, right? Axemen, symbiotes, Web Warriors, full Weapon X team. Here we split up Guardians and we use Mantis with Drax, and then the 3 Infinity Watch. The 2 Infinity Watch Jesters, and then Adam Warlock. Here we use Shield Medic, Coulson with Secret Avengers, full Black Bolt team. I have Icarus and Cersei carry Sinister, Strife, and Mystique. This team right here is awful. They win 50% of the time. It's just one of those things where I had to make a leftover team. I had Zemo, I had Shuri somewhere. I needed to make a leftover team. I don't have a full skill military team, so I really didn't have anywhere to put some of these characters, so that's the reason why they're there. But that will be some changes moving forward. Emma, Surfer, just kind of Invisible Woman. This works. This actually wins a lot of the times. Actually, yeah, actually quite a bit. I rarely ever lose with that team. Deathpool is here with Secret Avengers. Now you'll probably realize that I don't have Dr. Voodoo. I don't have Echo or Kate Bishop on a team as of yet. This will be changed. I will be taking off Deathpool and CM and putting them on this team for Blitz. So that will come in the future. Next time when we do the review, you'll see that. Full Heroes for Hire team. I use Cloak and Dagger on the remaining Asgardians here. T'Challa probably should come off this team, but he was here when he was at level 60 in gear tier 10, so I've kind of just left him there. But now that he's built up to 85 and 15, maybe we should probably take him off this team. We'll figure that out moving forward here. Namor is with X Factor, full Shadowland. We have Uncanny together, Inhumans together, Tech Nerva. This can get a little dicey sometimes, but we're low enough in our Blitz rotation to where we can usually get a win. Supernatural. We have the Ock, Sinister Six. We have full Brotherhood, full X-Force, full Pimtech. Moondragon is carrying this team. Elsa will come off this team. We'll probably have a full Dark Hunter team. We'll have some place to we have to find some place to put Hela and a few other characters. Phyla-Vell hard carries this team. They usually win all the time, actually. Wave with Avengers. Doom hard carries the hand team. Ultron hard carries leftovers. We have Power Armor. We have Mercs. And then we have AIM and a bunch of trash teams that are down here, essentially. These are just teams that I use to reset tiers. That's pretty much what's there. Raid team's pretty cookie cutter, right? Web Warriors. I use Zemo actually with Secret Avengers on the second node in Doom 2 raids and the skill section, just so I can use him to ability block Surfer. I actually use this team I use Shang-Chi and Secret Avengers Orchestral on the first node of skill and also on the last node of skill. Usually cooldowns are fine there. This is a team that I'm using primarily right now for the Tech Doom raids. I can pretty much basically use them for every single node. So the first, second, and also the third node. I will probably most likely lose Shuri, but I will get her back. I'm thinking about switching her over to Fortifier to try to give her a little bit of extra, but I'm not quite sure if that bug is fixed yet where Shuri is. I'm not quite sure if that where she was given defense, whenever she got defense up, she wasn't giving herself ability energy. I'm not sure if that's actually fixed yet, so I haven't switched it over to Fortifier. Also Ions, so that could be it. I have enough, but I'm always concerned about Ions. But this is the team that I usually use first, second, third node for the Doom raids. Usually, if I lose Shuri, I'll revive her. If I lose Lady Deathstrike, I'll probably swap in T'Challa at that point in time. I actually don't really use these two teams, so I'm most likely going to delete these two teams moving forward. Yeah, that makes sense. Axeman, that makes sense. And then the rest of these teams right here are just basically, I think, Greek raid teams that I'm using for some of those nodes. Arena, simple. This is a team that I use against Infinity Watch teams. So Cersei, Surfer, Icarus, Surfer, Doom, Kestrel, Cersei. That's usually what I use against Infinity Watch. This I'll use against those Speed Turtles teams. I'll use it against the Zemo teams, every now and again too. This, I'm trying to remember what I use this against. Usually if it's like a Doom team without Zemo, that's when I'll swap this team in and use them there. I don't use this team at all, so I probably should delete that. This is the Zemo Doom counter team with Cable and Emma, and then Speed Turtles. They're down here. And then for War Offense, these are my War Offense teams. I think I have about like 10 or 12 War Offense teams. Infinity Watch, I use them against either other Infinity Watch teams or Heroes for Hire, or I use them against that America Chavez Eternals hybrid. Symbiotes, I use them against the Sinister Six team, like Doc Ock Sinister Six teams. Jubilee, X-Men, I'll use them against Mercs or Doc Ock Sinister Six, or there's usually some other team that I can use them against as well. This team usually beats anything as long as it's not Heroes for Hire or like Eternals or something like that. They usually can beat most things. Secret Avengers, I use a lot against like some Doom, like really, really big Doom hybrid teams. That's what I'll use this team against. Or Uncanny. Those are some of the options. This team here, it's kind of like a feel thing in regards to what I use them against. Blackwood, I use them against Mercs a lot. Mercs, or if I see like big symbiote teams, I use them against the symbiotes as well. The Eternals, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. I use Hela here because I use Emma on the other team, so that's the reason why Hela's here, and Hela can provide some utility at some point in time. X-Factor Zemo, I do use against Young Avengers, but I can also use them against, like, depending on the Doom hybrid, I can also use it there too. It really kind of is a situational thing. Other than that, I will sometimes just use this team down here, the X-Factor Rhino comp, to use against those Doom Hood hybrids. Weapon X, self-explanatory, slide them over to Young Avengers if I need to. I'll use them against sometimes if I've already used Infinity Watch, if there is an America Chavez, Cersei, Icarus team on defense, I can also use them against them as well. Shadowland, I use against all the old Marauders hybrids. Uncanny can just use them against like whatever the old war defense metas are. So that's pretty much it, guys, on the roster. That's pretty much a full breakdown here. Next time we probably won't go through a full roster. We'll talk about a few other things. Next time we'll talk about what we're working on. Then we'll talk about how we've grown since then. But like I said, I'll make sure to do this every single month. This should be fun. I hope that you were able to get some insight here on kind of just like how I build my roster. And if you have any questions about anything, let me know. Happy to help here. But of course, if you like the video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel here. Hit the notification bell so that you know when my videos do go live. Also check out the links that are down below. My Patreon, so another way to support the channel. Amazon Coins, which is a way for you to save some money here on your Marvel Strike Force in-game purchases. And then the other links, my Discord, my Twitch. I stream Marvel Strike Force content on a weekly basis on Twitch, so check me out there as well, guys. But appreciate you guys watching the video. Until next time, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. Bye.